Good morning, Britain. Open the pubs early. That's the message from the government ahead of this Sunday's historic Women's World Cup final between England and Spain. We're live from Bondi Beach in Sydney and on the Costa del Sol as the fierce rivalry between English and Spanish fans heats up.
And later, a bank holiday for the win, despite the government ruling out a day off if the Lionesses take home the trophy. Should we get a national holiday if football comes home? Let us know what you think.
You'll get people coming up to you wanting to take a swing at you.
Swing at me?
Yeah.
Repeat that question. What did you say?
King of the chat shows, Sir Michael Parkinson spent his life interviewing some of the biggest names in the world. This morning, his close friend Jimmy Tarbuck shares his memories of one of Yorkshire's most famous sons.
This is history. Let's not run away from it. Let's embrace it.
Find out why Oscar-winning actor Morgan Freeman is calling for Black history to be taught in UK schools all year round.
Sorry, no refunds. Dating can be awkward when it comes to paying the bill at the end of the night. But in a cost of living crisis, should you bite the bullet and ask for your money back after a bad date? We're going to be debating that after 8 o'clock this morning.
Thunderstorms and heavy rain today is the forecast. The outlook is drier as we head into the weekend. I'll have all the details of that and more coming up on Good Morning Britain.
Friday, 18th of August, 2023. Live from Television Centre in London. This is Good Morning Britain with Charlotte Hawkins and Adil Ray.
Hello there, good morning. It's just gone 6 o'clock. Welcome to the programme, and we've got to start off by reflecting the sad loss of Sir Michael Parkinson. What an icon, a broadcasting legend, an interviewing giant. I mean, the tributes have poured in from far and wide, it's fair to say, isn't it? So many of the people that he'd interviewed getting in touch. Michael Caine saying he always looked forward to being interviewed by him. He brought out the best in everyone he met. Sir Elton John, a real icon who brought out the very best in his guests. David Attenborough saying he'd laugh at all your jokes and give you an opportunity to make you sound funnier than you were. And remembering him today, he's died at the age of 88, and he was just a national treasure, wasn't he?
You know, it's like in our job, when we're told, ask for advice, you know, how do you do an interview? And we all get told, listen. You know, that's the one thing everyone says.
Yes.
He was the great listener, wasn't he? You almost felt, and I'm sure he had his prepared questions when he did his interviews, but you almost just felt, when you were watching him with Ali or with Connolly, that it was just a conversation, and they were just talking to each other.
It was
and
like
you
friends
were
just chatting.
Yeah, and you were so privileged to watch it, and it was a destination. Saturday night, Parkinson. I'd watch it with my mum and dad. I mean, my mum and dad weren't even speaking to each other at the time. But we would all sit together.
It was that appointment to view that you weren't going to miss it, were you? And, you know, there are tributes in all the papers as well today. The front pages are full of talking about our greatest, the greatest.
Amazing.
There will never be another Parky. King, the king of the chat
and actually,
show.
I didn't know this. You told me this morning. I hadn't quite realised.
We wouldn't be here.
We wouldn't be sat in these chairs.
If it wasn't for Sir Michael Parkinson. Because he launched TV-AM. He was one of the team that launched TV-AM back in 1983.
So
there you go. Good Morning Britain.
It was called Good... Was it? It wasn't called Good Morning Britain, but that was the headline.
But that's what they were saying.
Oh,
so
I see.
he launched the first breakfast show on ITV.
Amazing. I had no idea. Well, that's incredible.
He presented the weekend show with his wife. There you are.
Lovely. And one of his very last interviews was on this show as well, wasn't it?
It was on Good Morning Britain back in November.
Yeah.
So he spoke to Susanna and to Richard as well, talking about his memoir, and he was there with his son. And I think, you know, it was just always amazing to hear him speak and to hear him talking about memories he had of interviewing people over the years. And he'd done some 2,000 interviews, he reckons, which is quite something.
In one career, if you just get a chance to interview one of those people, you feel like you've achieved something.
Yeah,
right?
I know. And the calibre of the people that he spoke to as well. I know Billy Connolly, he spoke to 8 times. He was one of his favourites, wasn't he? But we've got Muhammad Ali there, of course, the Beckhams, George Michael, Madonna, you name it.
And you remember, this is a time, this is what kids of today will not understand. This is a time there was no internet. So if you wanted to see your stars, they were on the television in the living room.
That was how you got closest to them.
And Parkinson had them all. He had them all. So that was the only... I mean, seeing Ali speak at that time was just incredible. I mean, when else would you ever see Ali talk on an interview? It would be Parkinson.
I don't dare to mention Emu, of course. You know, he did get cross about the fact that that was what he was remembered for, but I think it was moments like that as well that just showed, you know, the human side of him and the fact that he could have a laugh about things as well. And look at him there in action.
Smith. Absolutely brilliant. Amazing stuff. We'll be talking more about Michael Parkinson throughout the show this morning.
We will indeed. Talking to a friend of his later on, Jimmy Tarbuck.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he'll have lots of memories.
And do let us know if you've got your own personal memories, your favourite moments as well. Do get in touch with the show. It's 5 minutes after 6.
It is our main news this morning. The government's calling for every pub in England to be allowed to open early for the World Cup final. Levelling Up Secretary Michael Gove has written to councils telling them supporters should be able to, in his words, come together and enjoy a drink before kick-off for this special occasion.
Yeah, the Football Association is also said to be planning to honour the Lionesses and their manager with a statue outside Wembley Stadium, even if they don't beat Spain at the weekend to become world champions. Our correspondent Nithya Rajan is at the famous Bondi Beach in Australia, where there are plenty of England fans who've made the journey, and Nick Dixon is on the Costa del Sol in Spain. Where else would he be? First to Australia, though. Nithya, are the England players aware, I mean, I'm sure they are, of how much support they have back home, but do you feel that now they're in the final, that they're going to be able to soak up the pressure, the added responsibility on their shoulders now?
Very much so, Adil. I remember asking England's defender Alex Greenwood fairly early on in the tournament if she was aware of the support, and she simply said, well, the fans have been brilliant. Whether the fans are here at Bondi Beach or in Box Park in London, it's always been strong and steady. They've turned out to every single stadium here, regardless of the numbers of the Colombians or the Australians. They have been alongside there with them. And of course, after that epic performance at the semi-final, they watched the Lionesses celebrate on the pitch.